Right then guys, hello, welcome back to the Fly Project. Remember I was talking about a battery charger? Okay, I bought one of these, Foxsur, which is 1224, and I've been messing about with this for the last couple of weeks. What I was interested in more than anything was the repair facility on this, and I was very curious to see whether it would bring batteries back to life. Now, I had a bank of batteries which were condemned, and two of them had dead cells. I tried to charge them, couldn't get anything out of them, just dumped them. Now I had two batteries which I charged up, and what happened here is that the state of health from the battery charger or the battery tester was telling me that I was having 45% health on the battery. Okay, now obviously that charger had condemned it, so I put it on the pulse charge, yeah, and waited until it ran its cycle, which, to be honest with you, it can run for 48 hours, 24 hours, 26 hours, as long as it needs, until it thinks it's done its job. Unfortunately, the two batteries that I tried were unsuccessful. However, now this is the good thing about it. The battery tester said that they were bad and they should be replaced, but this piece of equipment brought the state of health up by 35%. So instead of 45, we're looking at 71% state of health. So that's not bad. There is definitely something in this pulse repair, definitely something in this. However, it will not bring a fucked battery back to life at all. Okay, there must be a threshold. So say you've got a battery that is about 70% health, and the battery tester says, yeah, that's bad, replace. You possibly could bring it up to maybe 90%. I did two other batteries. One of those was a battery from a 2013 Fiesta, first battery change. Again, that brought that up to just over being acceptable, which is 80%. And another one which actually worked out at something like 82% health, which was good. It was acceptable for the battery tester. However, I did film and then lost the footage. However, yeah, I would say this isn't a bad thing, but don't rely on it to do really bad batteries. If you know what the state of health is before you start, if it is not far under par, then you're okay to bring it back up to life. If it's completely screwed, then this isn't going to be much of a help. But a battery at 70% health still is going to be able to do something, even if it's going to get you out of trouble for a little while. So for 17 quid, not bad. This is a good battery charger. I've been caning this. It's been on charge for or been used for 2 weeks solidly, and it hasn't let me down. So if you're thinking that you could have one for one car, 2 weeks of battery charging, okay, that's going to last you, what, 20 years, isn't it? Yeah, so yeah, not bad. I'd say this was okay. Anyway, on to the main video now. Okay guys. Okay guys, hello and welcome back. This is a quick update just to let you know how we're getting on with the Fly. And yeah, the interior on the rear part of the vehicle has now been most of it's been stripped out, except for the headliner, which I wish to cut pretty shortly, and a couple of bits of trim. It's just a matter of moving the seat belts, taking the trim off, and then putting the seat belts back into place. However, now I've got an idea what it looks like without the rear seats and without any of the body trim whatsoever, and it looks quite good actually. It's utilitarian. It's a paramilitary green or pseudo-military green, which lends itself to a little bit of inspiration. But of course, it's not until you can see what's underneath then you can start to work on it. Okay, so I have two looms either side of the vehicle which run across the wheel arches. The passenger side is for lighting, for the rear number plate light, stop lamps and stuff like that, and of course the boot light. Okay, that I'm thinking I can move up to the top. If not, then I will need to armor it. On the passenger side, underneath where the seat used to be, the seat squab, there is something electrical. I'm not sure what that is. And where I'm at now is the tank sender unit, which is under a plastic plate. This will need to be strengthened, obviously, because that plastic cap is no good, is too weak. But the structure itself lends itself to having oval, round, cylindrical objects fitted into place. Plus there are always options for fixing points where the seat belts were, for instance. So do the Mad Max, could have a fuel tank right behind the seats, or a gas tank, or something like tents, anything like that. So yes, that acts as a cradle. But also the idea I've got is to have a partition which comes up to about here, which can be folded down to make this area completely flat, yeah, giving it more load space if needs be. But there are plenty of holes, brackets and areas to put stuff, to store stuff, to fix stuff on. And I need to first of all get the equipment in here so I get an idea of what I need to do, and then fix all the brackets and the straps and the such like into place, yeah, so I know where the equipment's going to go. Nothing should be floating about in the vehicle, because if it's going over semi-rough terrain and the vehicle's bouncing, then things will migrate everywhere and it will cause problems. The harder the equipment is, i.e. boxes, the more damage they will cause. This is why I'm opting for a lot of soft options, which is equipment in bags. Okay, so I've got a lot of military bags that I can pack stuff into, strap them down, and they're okay. Plus I have work bags as well, which lend themselves not for constant use, but for storing stuff just in case it's needed. Then I would almost say they were disposable, almost disposable, because the zips aren't very good on them. Mainly some of the equipment bags, like my old military sausage bag, that can be used if needs be. I've got a tent which can be strapped down in this hollow, for instance. So yes, I've got that sort of equipment, but it's planning how I'm going to put it into place, have the stuff that I don't need so often accessible, and the stuff that doesn't get used very often stored deeper down. This is why the panels here, which have been removed, there's a good area for storage, but unfortunately it doesn't take containers like this. They're just that little bit too wide, unless I move them out a little bit, which is not a good option. I'm not going to cut any of the structure of it, because it all is integral part of the vehicle's strength. Now I was advised by a good friend that because the seat on the rear has been removed, that I need to put a strengthening bar between the two sides of the vehicle, i.e. strapped to the shock absorbers. This is because it's part and parcel of the structure. It stops the vehicle flexing too much, yeah. Now that everything's been removed on the rear here, the vehicle actually handles differently. Just the weight of the seats makes it handle differently. The acoustic qualities of the vehicle has changed because it's very, very noisy. You can hear all the road noise from the rear axle, which when equipment is put into here, it will absorb that, especially if it's in soft bags and there's a lot of soft fittings, yeah, so that won't be a problem. Windows have got to be darkened out, or maybe changed for aluminium plates. I'm not sure about that. The rear window is going to be darkened out so people can't see. And what I'd like to do, just as a nice touch, is have a cargo net between the front and the rear, which divides it off and gives the driving and passenger area a little bit more of a exclusive feel, yeah, so that may dampen some of the noise from the rear as well. Now I've been looking at forby.co.uk, where I used to buy Land Rover bits from. This is Neil Enzer's shop. He is one of those Alibaba type of guys who has a cave with thousands and thousands of containers of all sorts of stuff there, yeah, and there's some expedition stuff or Land Rover gear, but it's applicable to people like myself who wants a cargo net that I can fit in the vehicle. So I'll be using his shop as and when I need to get all those little bit of extra bits. And of course he is a camping man himself. You could call him a prepper if you like, but yes, he just has a lot of good stuff there, and if I want something I can always contact him. If he has it that he can get it wholesale, then all the better, yeah. We've got to keep costs to a minimum with this project, and fancy smancy equipment unfortunately is the last consideration. The first consideration is having practical equipment that doesn't cost too much, that isn't going to be a burden. Okay, so I'm not just doing this for prepping. We can also use it for camping, taking tents out and going out into the wild and doing some wild camping and stuff like that from time to time, which I'm keen on doing. Plus my boy does airsofting, so getting down to the airsoft site, it would be good if we had some decks in across the back here and guns slung on here, you know, just for that feel. Just for that feel. Yeah, you never know. You might have to strap a gun for real, but I would like a bow and an arrow, learn how to use them and have it fixed in the vehicle if it's possible to do without being visible to the general public, obviously. Yeah, so anyway, that's it now. That's the update. I will see you in the next video, in the next tutorial, and mechanical what have you. Yeah, so be seeing you later. Take it easy. Oh, just a matter of interest, if you have any suggestions for the rear here, I know some of the guys have really good ideas and I do listen to them, although even if they don't match with what I am doing, it still is a consideration that will run through my head. First of all, one of the guys said, yeah, why don't you have all the stuff hidden? Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually. Just have secret compartments, everything's stashed away, so just in case you need it. But that would be, I think, for a newer vehicle where you would have to dump it, you grab your stuff and go. Yeah, but if you want to know a story, I'll tell you one. This is when I was crossing the border of Ukraine into Poland. Okay, now Western Ukraine, cigarettes, vodka is a lot cheaper than it is in Poland. So you can imagine there is a temptation for smuggling stuff into Poland. Yeah, just for sale, a little bit extra money for them. Now, if you're ever stuck at the border vehicle crossing, you will see that the customs guys, they will take door panels to bits. They will strip vehicles down if they suspect somebody going across there smuggling. Well, I was stuck in the queue going into the Ukraine, and I spent like 11 hours in the queue shunting all night long. And the guy in front of me had a little car like this. This was a Lada Samara, and he would get out every so often with a little bottle of petrol, or 2-litre bottle of petrol, and pour it into the tank to keep it going. Well, you know what he was doing, don't you? He was smuggling stuff in where the tank was, or even smuggling it in the tank, and having a smaller tank which he had the vehicle run on, which to me, I knew exactly what he was doing. However, it was one of those things you think, yeah, I know what you're up to. But it wasn't until I hit the border customs post that I realised why he had everything hidden in the tank. Yeah, me as an Englishman with an LDV van, they just looked at it, they opened the door, smelt my smelly socks because I've been in the van a week, and they just flagged me on because I'm going to the UK, not smuggling stuff into Poland. Yeah. If you travel by train, you'll probably see as well, Ukraine to Poland, you'll see how rife it is. But that's another day and another story. So anyway, see you later.